Coming up, Backing the Bar, the community coming together to support an LGBTQ bar that police say was the target of an arsonist.
We get only a quick break from the rain with more showers to expect by morning.
And if you thought having roommates was hard now, New York Live gives us a slice of New York history from inside the Tenement Museum. Hey, what's up? This is News 4 Now for April 6th. I'm Kate Ingram. Now first up, police are still trying to find the man who lit up a popular bar in Bushwick, Brooklyn. A co-owner of Rash Bar in Bushwick tells us it happened Sunday. 3 people were working when someone walked in, poured gas on the floor, lit it, and ran. He did leave behind a gas can. Police are hoping surveillance video from a nearby gas station helps him out. We're told someone was seen there minutes before the fire, filling up a container.
I looked over and I saw just enormous flames up to the top of the ceiling. It was crazy.
And as we New Yorkers do, there's been an outpouring support to help rebuild the bar and care for 2 workers who were seriously burned. A GoFundMe page has already raised tens of thousands of dollars. Meanwhile, in nearby Crown Heights, 4 people are recovering after a vehicle jumps a curb and slams into a restaurant. It happened around 8 Wednesday morning near St. John's Place. The restaurant is called Two Saints. 2 adults and 2 children were taken to the hospital. They're expected to be okay, but it's still not clear what caused the crash. And a miracle in the Bronx. People living in Mott Haven are wondering how a 4-year-old fell from a 6th-floor apartment window and survived. It happened at the Patterson houses Tuesday afternoon. He was alert and crying as police officers rushed him to the hospital across the street. We're told the boy fell through a small space next to the air conditioning unit where window guards are not required. Meanwhile, in New Jersey, a mayor is apologizing for making racist and sexist comments, all of which were caught on a recording. In that video statement Wednesday night, Clark Mayor Sal Bonaccorso directly addressed the allegations for the first time. The mayor's been facing calls to resign after secret recordings by a police lieutenant in 2020 appear to feature him repeatedly making racial slurs. He was also recorded allegedly making harsh remarks about women officers. He says after attending Black Lives Matter marches 2 years ago, he's now a changed man.
I deeply apologize for my hurtful and insensitive language. It was wrong. I'm embarrassed and ashamed to have spoken that way about a race of people.
Legal papers obtained by News 4 show the town paid the lieutenant who made the recordings $400,000 on condition he turned them over. The then police chief and a police sergeant were also allegedly heard making racist comments on those recordings. They were placed on leave. The state attorney general's office is promising to release a public report on this case.
Hi there, I'm Storm Team 4 meteorologist Maria LaRosa, and a really nasty day, and it's an okay evening. As you can see, mostly cloudy skies at this point. For most of us, we do stay dry overnight, but you see by tomorrow morning, especially north and west, a few showers beginning to pop up. That is going to be the theme for tomorrow, more showers and even a few thunderstorms. As far as the winds go, they've been brisk all day today. They'll continue to be brisk out of the east and in fact continue to be gusty in through tomorrow out of the east before changing over to the northwest, bringing some drier air in finally by Friday. Temperature-wise, we'll be down into the 40s across the area, 47 in the city for the low, 44 in Poughkeepsie, 43 in Eastport, 45 in Trenton, with high temperatures staying only in the 40s.
Up next, New York is a city built by immigrants, which is a fact and history that's been captured by this institution in Lower Manhattan. That said, New York Live is here to take us on a tour through the Tenement Museum. Check it out.
The Lower East Side is known for its eclectic scene and vibrant nightlife, but it's also a huge part of New York City's history. And today we're at the Tenement Museum on Orchard Street to see why. Hi, Kat.
Hi.
I'm very excited to be here today. I love New York City history, and tenements are a big part of that. Can you tell me about the significance?
Absolutely. I mean, so here we are in 97 Orchard Street in the hallway of what is now the Tenement Museum. And this building was built in 1863, but by the year 1900, about 70% of New Yorkers live in tenements. And a tenement was really defined just to mean any building with more than 3 families. There was no running water in this building until 1905. So Jenny, she has to carry buckets of water up from the backyard, wash clothes, wash dishes, boil diapers, and then take it back down to the backyard to dump it out. These are the bathrooms, and these were put in 1905. There's 2 on every floor, and these were shared. So you have, by 1900, even about 110 people living in the building. You imagine lines, and middle of the night. Like, you know, this is a space where you're seeing your neighbors, but also trying to figure out just like how to go about your day and do what you need.
Goodness.
So by the 1930s, tenements had changed a lot, and 97 Orchard Street had changed a lot. We've got electricity by 1924, but that's late for electricity to come into a building. This is the home of the Baldizzi family. Mom and Dad were immigrants from Palermo, Sicily, and Josephine and Johnny are their 2 New York-born children.
Sorry, I'm Sicilian, family from Palermo. My grandmother's name was Josephine, my father's name was John. Sorry. The Italians, I'm feeling it in this apartment.
Yeah, I mean, but that's one of always the most special pieces of having our museum by tour. These spaces become really powerful ways for people to connect to their family's past.
So 97 Orchard is one of the tenement buildings that you have. Tell me about the other.
Our other building, 103 Orchard Street, actually stayed a home through the 20th century. These tenements really help us understand stories over time and the stories of real New Yorkers.
It is all so fascinating. Kat, thank you so much for showing me around today.
It's been a pleasure.
And finally, books are making a comeback at New York Public Libraries near you. And I mean that quite literally. That's because the New York Public Library has eliminated late fees, even if you haven't returned your books in decades. News 4's Rana Novini is here to check out what's being checked back in.
Getting books back on shelves and readers back in the library. That was the idea behind the New York Public Library's decision to get rid of overdue book fees.
When something's overdue, when they owe the library $1 or $5 or $20 or even more, that level of guilt can kind of keep somebody away from the library.
Billy Parrott, director of the Stavros Niarchos Foundation Library in Midtown, says since the library system got rid of late fees 6 months ago, overdue gems keep trickling in.
A lot of apologies. I'm sorry these books have been on my shelves for 20, 30, 40, 50 years in some cases.
More than 10,000 books have been returned so far, many of them decades old. And some embarrassed readers are also including a handwritten note. One woman giving back a stack of educational books, saying, "I am 75 years old now, and these books have helped me through motherhood and my teaching career. I am grateful and also extremely embarrassed for being selfish for not sharing these books and returning them." Another book called Ideal Marriage was checked out in the 1950s. The person who returned it apologizing on behalf of his late brother-in-law, saying, "Funny thing is, the book didn't support his efforts with his first and only marriage. No wonder he hid the book."
If those books meant that much to you, odds are they'll mean just as much to other people, and we want other people to access those same resources.
Parrott says the removal of late fees is not just about finding these precious publications. It's about a clean slate, encouraging New Yorkers to let go of the guilt and return to the library, no matter how overdue their books are.
We just don't want situations where very nominal fines are preventing the public from accessing our life-changing resources.
Rana Novini, News 4 New York.
All right, friends, that's it for today's show. Thanks for checking in. We'll see you back here tomorrow on News 4 Now. See ya.